Hey everybody, Ketwolski here, checking in with another one of our hashtag Star Trek Discovery Discussions videos. Today we're going to be talking about a deleted scene that was leaked out from WonderCon 2018 just recently that was shown that basically added a little bit of extra spice to the finale of Star Trek Discovery, and some people on the internet seem to really like this scene, and they seem to really enjoy what it is that it represents. I personally think that it just makes the show worse, and I'm glad that it was cut, and I hope it does not make a resurgence in the Season 2, Episode 1 premiere that we'll see later on this year. So with that being said, I am not going to be displaying the video here in my reaction. This is going to be more of a reaction discussion video. I'm going to post the video separately, and I'm also going to include a link to Twitter that's going to have the video located up on there. And the only reason I'm doing that right now is just because my experiences with CBS have been tumultuous at best. So I'm fearing that if they discover that this video includes the deleted scene, they will most likely either strike this or simply just remove the audio-visual altogether. So with that being said, like I said, I'm going to keep the link down in the description of the video being posted separately, but we're just going to do a quick discussion about that. So before you continue on with this video, be sure to go actually watch the deleted scene. It's only about 2 minutes long, so it's nothing crazy. And then go ahead and pop back over here for the discussion. Okay, so with that scene, we get to see Michelle Yeoh's character, Empress Michelle Yeoh's character, Philippa Georgiou, appear to be now in charge of the seedy sex bar slash, I don't know, drug den that we got to see at the end of Star Trek Discovery. It appears as though she's running the show down there, maybe even potentially the manager now of this location. And I think probably just wallowing in her own sadness that she's lost her empire, that she's lost her Michael Burnham, and that now she's just basically got to hang out. So it's interesting to see that she's still on Kronos. I would have expected her to leave Kronos, especially since she knows that at any moment the planet could, I don't know, explode. But so she's still there, and she's approached by an individual who's pretending to be a Trill at the bar. And it is then discovered through their dialogue that he is a Section 31 operative, which is great, interesting. And then essentially he's there to recruit her to work for the clandestine operations of Section 31. And right before he leaves, he puts a small little box on one of the desks, or excuse me, one of the bar tops. As he walks away, she gets up to go grab it, opens it up, and it reveals the black badge that we saw in the Season 1, Episode 3, I believe it was, for Star Trek Discovery, which was the first episode post the two-part pilot. And so it's the nice little black, glossy badge that we saw before. And the guy turns and says, "Welcome to Section 31," and then he walks off, and she's just standing there holding it. Okay, so two things with this. Number one, it shows us kind of where Michelle Yeoh's character is at, which, again, I didn't really think was very smart. She's kind of a forward-thinking kind of individual. She ran an empire. I don't see her just wallowing in her own self-pity and kind of just... I say wallowing because she spends a lot of the scene drinking, so I assume that means she's trying to self-medicate and deal with her own problems. That's why I say wallowing. And it just doesn't seem like that would be her character. Like, it doesn't seem like that lines up with who she was, coming from somebody who was immediately trying to take over the Star Trek Discovery, the USS Discovery, when she came into the Prime universe. And she just seems like a much more forward thinker than someone who's just going to run a bar in the Orion district of Kronos. It just doesn't really line up with that. The other thing that I have to say is that the black badge... Everyone theorized the black badge was Section 31. I did a video about it when it first came out. A million people did. Everybody knew the black badge meant Section 31. It just lines up with what we know about Section 31, especially from Deep Space Nine, where everyone's wearing black and like black leather, and I don't know. I guess that's clandestine, even though it makes them stand out like sore thumbs, and I can't imagine black leather being particularly helpful in a combat situation. But anyways, I digress. So everyone with the black badge, everybody knew that was Section 31. They didn't confirm it. They never went back to it throughout the entirety of Season 1. And this little sequence that was subsequently deleted from the finale confirmed that that's what that badge meant, which is just essentially, at this point, still a fan theory because it hasn't actually appeared on screen yet. But my problem with this is that means you had a one or more Section 31 operatives on the USS Discovery during the beginning of the Klingon War wearing Starfleet uniforms with gear, wearing a Section 31 badge. Now, Section 31, everyone always, says, oh, it's in the original Federation Charter and it's sanctioned, but it's not really sanctioned. It's the Mossad, it's the CIA, it's the KGB, it's this secretive organization that does different things, and people know about it, but people also don't know about it. So much so that in DS9, when they approach Julian Bashir, Bashir he's like, I've never heard of it. And Bashir's a smart cat. If it was even barely knowledgeable, he would probably be aware of it, especially for his love of spy work and clandestine operations, hence the reason he was approached by Section 31 to begin with. So to imply that they would be operating in plain view of everybody on that ship and nobody really asking the question of, well, who the hell is that guy with the black badge? It just doesn't really make any sense, and it goes against kind of what we know about Section 31. It's almost contradictory in its own show, where the guy that's recruiting Michelle Yeoh's character says that they run in the shadows and they keep a low profile and they do things that are off the books, but yet that also includes wearing a Starfleet uniform and operating openly in the open on the USS Discovery. But that also means that there was operatives in the mirror universe, and they never even talked about that. You would think that once a Section 31 operative landed in this crazy universe where there's a Terran Empire, there would be a sequence where they would say, hey, Captain Lorca, we're going to send off some operatives to stay behind, and you guys can go back to the Prime Universe, but we need to investigate what's going on here. Or something, like anything. I mean, these are clandestine operatives. You would think that they would have been the people that they brought with them when they went on to the Terran Shenzhou, because they needed to go deep undercover. Instead, they bring dick-headed Tyler and bad-acting Michelle Burnham, and it doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't use their cream-of-the-crop operatives, which they apparently had. I guess you could argue that maybe some of them left between the episode 3 and the end of season 1 when they, or the mid-season finale of season 1, where they went to the mirror universe, but like I said, they never talked about it again. They never showed it. They never touched on it. And the whole thing wrapped all the way around itself, wrapped all together. It just doesn't make any sense. Again, doesn't fit into canon, and it doesn't even fit into its own canon within the show, which is, again, why I'm glad glad they deleted it, because it would go contradictory to what they've already shown, which is that Section 31 is operating and that they're members of Starfleet because they're wearing Starfleet uniforms. It's possible that that individual was using it as a cover, but they would be stupid, because why the hell would he be wearing a black badge? People would be like, "What? Who's that guy?" If he was undercover, if he or she was undercover, they would have a regular badge so that no one knew it was them. They wouldn't be wearing a Starfleet uniform, which they're not technically a member of Starfleet, and a black badge. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm glad this episode. The scene was deleted from this episode because it would have just complicated matters even more. Like I said, it doesn't make sense for Michelle Yeoh's character to just be hanging out getting drunk at this bar, and it doesn't make any sense for what we know is for Section 31 in regards to Star Trek Discovery. Now, if they didn't have that black badge in episode 3, this scene would have been really cool, and it would have made a lot more sense. It would have still fucked Michelle Yeoh's character up a little bit, but it would have made a lot more sense, because it's like, oh man, they're there, they're operating. But it's almost as if they didn't even plan it out. It's like they didn't even think about it. They were just like, throw the black badge on there. People know Section 31. That's cool, right? And it's just dumb. It just goes to show, like, I don't know if it's the writers or the showrunners or what. It's just, they're all over the place and they don't really know what they're doing. And they ruined an opportunity to have this scene in there, which would have been really cool, to just have a throwaway scene in episode 3 where they're walking by and they're like, what's a black badge? And then they never talk about it again. I don't know. It's just lack of planning, and it just shows through. But yeah. Anyways, guys and gals, that's my feelings on this deleted scene. I know I just kind of ranted on for quite a bit. I am curious to hear what all of you guys and gals think about it. Do you enjoy this sequence? Do you think it should have been left in? Do you feel like Michelle Yeoh's character would just be wallowing in her own sadness and kind of just hanging out at this seedy little bar? And what do you think about the Discovery showrunners' decisions in regards to the black badge thing going on with Section 31, do you think that they should have removed it from the episode 3 and just had this sequence? Is it good to have both? I'm curious to hear what all of you guys and gals think about it. If you enjoyed this video, please throw a like and a subscribe up on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at RealKetwolski, and I will see all of you guys and gals next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!